Guess what? How you doing? Good. How's it going?
Very well yourself.
No issues?
None.
Then I'm great. You gotta be anxious to get into that.
I am.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks again, eh?
No problem. You guys have a good day.
You know it. All right. My first start. Oh, can you even believe these doors? Right on. All right, he gave me shit already for slamming the door, so I won't be doing that anymore. Wow, he likes to lay back. Holy, there we go. Pop her up. Nice. No idea what key. Probably this little one here. It is. All right. Oh, I never asked him how to work the shifter. Let's give her a crank. Must have to have something going on here. Oh, it wasn't in park. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh boy. No start. Let's see if I have ignition now. Oh, I hear the fuel pump. That's a good sound. Woo. Well, that's a good sound. First start. Woohoo! All right, let's see if I can figure out how to work this shifter. There's drive. Is that reverse? That's neutral. Oh, here comes a little lady.
Do you want to be by yourself?
No. Oh yeah, it's power or standard steering, but it's light. Well, we're also on gravel. Oh, what a sound! Eh? Hear that cam? Brake pedal's really out there. It's stiff. It's perfect. There's no issues with the brakes. I'll just stay on the drive. So lift up the lever. One is neutral. Next one is drive. When you're racing, drop it right down to first, and then when you hammer it into second, it won't go past, and you lift it into third. So.
That's what I'll be doing.
All right, so neutral, drive. Oh, it's got that old car feel for sure. Love it. I'm 17 years old all over again. Bit of a squeak to the belt, maybe get a new one or tighten that up. Look at that, all the gauges work even. Holy, eh? Except that's showing like less than 12 volts. Oh no, rev it up, it goes up to 12. Fuel looks like it's accurate, probably. Tach obviously works. Mile per hour, oil pressure, tons of oil pressure. And water temp, look at that, under 180. And he just drove it here from out of town, so nice. Everything's functional. Not a whole lot of options here. We got ourselves some kind of defroster there, you know, for winter. Tiny little radio. That's it. Headlights work, I know. I just tried them. Wipers haven't tried yet. Oh, look at that. One speed wipers, and that's all you get, on or off. Beautiful. Look at the headliner in this thing. Maybe you get that kind of, no, it's fine. Oh, everything's beautiful. All is well. Let's get this puppy safetied and on the road. All right, that's the electric fans you hear running up front. They shut off when the temperature comes down. Oh, I'm coming, Dave. Okay, go right away. There we go. That's going to be a great little piece of transportation. All right, here we go. Going to put the windows up in case there's wind noise on that GoPro. I just got to show you something quick here. Look what happens when you try to look out the rear view mirror. Look at all the things you're looking through to get to that mirror. Oh, that's fabulous. That's the 60s for you. I mean, you can see out there and everything, but just, yeah, and that's the only other mirror I got there, and then nothing on the right because they didn't come with one stock. I'll probably add one, a vintage looking one or something, but so far this is awesome. Work this shifter, so all the way down. I can't put it all the way down. thought I was going to get rear-ended on the highway pulling into the house there because someone came up on me so fast. I decided to put my foot in the gas and go up to the next entrance because I thought, that's it. That car is going to drive right in the back of me. I saw it weaving back and forth and heading for the gravel, and oh boy, I'm out of here. Okay, you're gonna have to forgive me for the traffic noise. The road's pretty busy today, but I want to just stop the car for a minute and just run over a few of the specs on the car, some of the factory stuff and some of the custom stuff that's been done to it here. Then we'll do a little more drive and then we'll shut her down for this video. Pretty darn excited. It's a pretty neat thing to buy an old car like this after some 40 years driving these things back in the day. I always drove 4 speeds back then, and I am so done with standards. I'm just so thankful this has an automatic. I'm just too old for the 4-speed. So this was originally a 6-cylinder car, I believe a 3-speed automatic. Now the original owner mentioned that, I'm just gonna open the door here. The seller mentioned that it was a bench seat car, but I think, well, I don't know, I'm not gonna second guess them. It's just in the specs for the serial number for the car, it mentioned it was a bucket seat car. Now obviously the interior has been replaced in here. The rear seat is original. I'm going to go ahead and assume it's been recovered, but that is the original seat. And then I forget what these seats are out of. You know what? I'll get into that in the custom part. Let's still talk about the factory part on this. This was I'm just going to crank this window down. This was a blue on blue car. So it was I believe it's like a medium blue metallic paint originally with a medium blue, light blue fabric, 2-tone vinyl. It was built in Cincinnati, C4 transmission, 310 open differential, 1-wheel peel car, if you could get that 6-cylinder revved up enough to do it. All right, that's about it for factory. Let's get into this custom work because there is not a lot on this car that is still factory. And if I had found an old 6-cylinder car and I had the knowledge and the ability and the shop to build a V8 car, this is what I would build. I mean, when I was reading the upgrades on this car on the ad, I just couldn't believe it. It's like the guy was reading my mind. So let's take a look. Let's just start at the front and work our way back. Okay, obviously the hood scoop is the first thing you're going to notice is not stock. I can't remember what that's off now. I just can't. I'm going to have to do a little research. He told me, but I forgot. So let's crank the hood open here. I'm going to have to do this with 2 hands. All right. Now you're going to see, I mean, you Ford guys are going to notice something right away. Where the heck are the shock towers, right? There's so much room in this engine bay. You could put any motor in here. Put a big diesel in here if you wanted to, if you were so inclined, I suppose. No, that is a Mustang 2 front end installation, and it's not a kit. It's from a real Mustang 2. You'll notice no power steering lines. That's right, it's an old manual steer job, and this is a really well done modification. I mean, look at the panels, the patch panels where the old shock towers were. You know, they're formed for rigidity. I mean, that looks, you just can't get much more factory looking than that. A little embarrassed, I haven't cleaned the car yet. I know I've owned it for like a couple weeks now, or a week or so, and I have not gone through the car. So you're seeing it as it is, as a driver, as like a daily driver. I'll get her cleaned up for the next one and maybe show a before and after. Next thing you might notice, the 6-cylinder's gone. What's in its place? Well, take a look and see what you know. I'll tell you a hint, it is a 351. Now, Windsor or Cleveland. Some of you guys will know by looking at the fuel pump base. The mounting bolts are vertical, and the water pump does not go into the intake manifold. It goes into the engine block. There might be a few other indications that this is a Cleveland. This is a 351 Cleveland from a 1972 Mustang, and it's matching C6 automatic transmission is behind it. The engine and tranny came out of that car together, and I believe a 429 was going in that Mustang, and this car was lucky enough to receive the 351 Cleveland. Oh, that bar, what do you call those bars again? Oh, Monte Carlo bar, I think that's called. Monte Carlo bar. Adds a lot of strength and rigidity to the front of this car. I was kind of shocked when I drove it just how flat this thing rides. I drove old 60s cars back in the day when I was a kid, and you went around a corner and that thing was leaning over on 30 degrees over nothing, just slightest little turn, and that tire would be up in that fender and she'd be leaning over, you'd be wheeling away on that steering wheel, that great big truck steering wheel. So I just cannot, I mean, I can actually tell you before and after the difference between a Mustang 2 front end and the old original. Oh, this is just so much better. It just rides so nice now. What else can I tell you on this engine? It does have a cam in it, a Crowder cam, roller rockers, Holley 750, and double pumper, and Edelbrock aluminum intake. Looks like a nice new alternator. You'll see the cooling fan is long gone because a big old aluminum radiator's been installed. She stays plenty cool. And then up front here you'll see dual electric fans on the front of that. And you'll see the little temperature copper pipe that comes along and runs into the upper rad hose to check that water temperature. Once the water temperature's down a little bit, these shut off on their own. Ignition, obviously not original, full MSD ignition system with the resistor. I believe that's a noise resistor for the radio. You might also notice a lot of wiring in here. This car came complete with a sketch, like a hand bomb sketch of the custom wiring on this car. So anything I'm curious about, what goes where in the wiring department, I just got to open the folder, take a look at that wiring diagram, and I'll have it. Brakes, you'll notice the old single piston manual brakes are gone. We now have, I believe it was Chrysler. You know, for safety, you gotta upgrade the brakes on these old cars. So it's a dual piston manual brake cylinder now from a Chrysler. I'm not sure what year, model, or anything like that. This car is going to have a little bit of everything on it. The hubs on the outside, I forget what these rims are. I think they look like Chrysler rims, but I don't know, maybe, you know, all the factories made a rim that looked like this back in the day. The rotors themselves were from a Ford Granada, 75 to 80 Granada. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said Chevy calipers, and 14-inch rubber all the way around. I like that old school look. I know everyone's going to bigger wheels now, thinner tires, but I'm sticking with the 14s at least for a while. Okay, also the oil pan's been modified on this, and so the original dipstick we could ignore wherever that is. We've got another dipstick down in there. That's what that aluminum tube thing is. There's 6-quart oil pan on this now. And as far as the C6 tranny goes, we've got an oil cooler up front with a bunch of dead bugs. I think I have another one in the shop. I might just replace it. This one's kind of dented, or I'll spend a day and try to straighten out some of those fins. Okay. Probably not too much more to see under here. This is a functional scoop. As you can see, the hood has been cut out. I forget there is something about the number that's written on this hood scoop that meant something. You could just see a little bit of something to do with 429 or 427. I forget what it was, but what this scoop actually came from. These numbers may be what we were talking about there. I don't know. So that's pretty much the the upgrades done to the powertrain. Just put that down. Everything on this car clicks closed ever so gently. We'll move ourselves back here. We've got, so I did mention that it has a C6 transmission. I'm not looking under the car, so I don't know what you see there. And it's controlled by a B&M, what do you call that? Sport shifter or something. I forget what they call it now. Have to look that up. Super shifter. Not super. It's, I don't know. They have kind of, I think, kind of silly names for those things. But now, why don't I? Well, let's finish the drivetrain before I get inside the car. So we run to the back, and we have Lincoln. Yeah, we have Lincoln hubs on the back with disc brakes, and I didn't mention there's disc brakes on the front as well. So disc brakes on the back from a Lincoln, probably mid 2000s. I'm not too sure. It's got a 9-inch rear end with, I can't remember the gear ratio. I just can't quite remember. I think it was 320, something like that. 321, 325. Nice chrome track bars, old school look right there. You know, somehow the tires have worn down somehow. You know, the back ones somehow got worn more than the fronts. Must have been a factory defect, I'm assuming. Yeah. What do we got? We got it's a Detroit True Track rear differential, so it's a posi. Although I think GM really has the posi name on that. 2000 and let's see. Okay, and obviously it has an aluminum fuel cell, and it's done nicely. You know, the actual cap still works and everything. I know some people just put the lid on top of the cell and open the trunk and fuel up and stuff like that. Paint, actually, because it's sunny, you're gonna see the black cherry in this black cherry paint. When it's gray out, when it's cloudy or dark at night, this car looks black. But yeah, you can see it's very nice. It looks really cool. And against the gray interior, and then the bits that are black, and of course this accent stripe is not how it was in the factory. That's actually some kind of backsplash or something for a kitchen. But boy, does it look neat, eh? Okay, let's hop inside and take a little look around, see what we've got inside. Okay, so we have full instrumentation. Water temperature never goes over 180. Oil pressure sits in the middle range, looks good. Miles per hour, I don't know how to read miles per hour, so I just look out the windshield and drive. The tach's more important anyway. She does rev pretty high when I'm about 80 miles an hour on the highway, which I think is about 130. I'm right by the 401, so there's going to be some expressway driving. It revs about 3,500, 3,600, which, you know what, these engines were designed to rev all day long back in the day. It's just a straight 3-speed C6 transmission, no overdrive. I might upgrade that sometime because traveling a distance might be a thing to do. I got a bee on the windshield here, so I'm gonna just crank up this window and keep him out. Fuel gauge does work. That's a pretty big tank. I was down to about a quarter of a tank, thought I'd fill it up, and it took a lot. I think I spent 75 bucks in gas, and gas is not too expensive right now. And the voltmeter, I'm idling just under 12 volts, and while I'm driving it's 13 volts plus, so I don't think I'm going to have any issue there. I totally forget what this red button's for, so I'm not pushing it until I figure that out. This is a vintage looking radio. I believe a company down in California makes these, and it's meant to look like an old original AM radio, but really it's you know, full FM. All the controls are on top of the buttons here. You can see what it says, and there is an iPod hookup underneath, and there's fairly decent sound in this thing. No bass, but you know, back in the day we didn't have any bass. Looking around, it's got the old vent box. Remember back then, you know, used to keep beverages cold in those until you got stopped on the back road, and Johnny Law would take your pops away from you, dump them on the road, and send you on your way. nothing much to see under here. The old push button high beam and the lights do work. The headlights do work. I checked those out, and they're upgraded too. I forgot to mention when I was up there, they're not like the old style headlight. I think they're like HIDs or something. What else is there seeing here? Not too much. You know, we're missing maybe probably Falcon emblem, maybe some trim. We got some holes to, you know, that's something I can look for at the swap meets. Yeah. Oh, it is 2020, so you got to carry your mask with you. I know 2020 has been a bear of a year for a lot of people, but hey, not so much for me. Not yet anyways. Beautiful black headliner in this car. It's in great shape. He did add a very tasteful third brake light back there. I think that looks great. Carpet's in great shape, all black. Let's go show you, maybe we'll pop the trunk and take a look in there. Door panels, no issues there. No problems. I think seat belts were optional this year. It does have full seat belts. I don't believe the front ones may be original because it's the old style lap belt with no what do you call them, no recliners or whatever, or rewinders. Looks the same in the back. They just hang loose and long. All right, but yeah, as you can see, I mean, she's a driver. Look at all the foot scuffs and stuff. If it was a show car, I wouldn't have bought it, and I certainly would not have been able to afford it. This was a perfect car. I haven't washed it yet, so you're gonna see all kinds of, like, you know, it's just dirty and spots and things. I'm gonna wash it today for the first time. All right, let's pop this trunk open and see what she looks like inside. Okay, so we got a nice spare. Instead of one of those tiny little donut things, it's got a proper wheel with trim ring. How about that, eh? Whichever one is in the best shape, you put on your car. The other one goes on the spare. Of course, the California duster is probably the most important piece of equipment on this car. I dust it every day. Battery relocated to the back, to the trunk, and it's bolted down good. Got a nice big fuse that's easy to find. In here is the parts for the Lincoln parking brake on the, I think, the driver's side. Yeah, that's something I have to do yet for the safety, is figure out a parking brake. I got some ideas, but I might just might pay a guy to come up with something because I'm kind of busy. But look, underneath the trunk, everything's perfect. It's all the weather trim and stuff. I mean, just no issues. No issues. The worst of it is, which isn't even all that bad, is there's a spot on the bumper somewhere that's, I think, yeah, okay, so peeling off a little bit there. There's also a little bit of bubbling on this fender, little issue. I might take it to one of those guys that specializes in small areas, you know, maybe $300-400, get both fender lips redone. Riding later, that sounded great. What else in here? Anything? I mean, I could lift the carpet and show you. I didn't mention that. Yeah, he actually made the he made the gas cap actually functional. Where a lot of people that have the aluminum fuel cells underneath, they just, you know, have a cap. They just have a cap down here, and no, but he actually installed a pipe that runs down to the tank, and now it's a full usable trunk. Instead of, you know, some people put the tank right in the trunk, and then it's, yeah, I guess it kind of looks cool in there, but I think it looks kind of cool, or cooler, hanging into the bumper. Means business. And then to see, you know, you can openly see the track bars on the leaf springs. It's just, I think that's just a cool look. Old school, 70s, 80s, this is how we rolled with the old junky winter car. Muscle cars left over from the 60s. Well, luckily some of these get saved and built into some really pristine driving cars. So is that it for back here? There is an Alpine amp. Oh, he's even got a bumper, or not a bumper jack, but a jack. So 6x9 speakers like everybody used to use. Even used sound deadening in behind the rear seat when he rebuilt the car. I'd imagine that will be throughout the car, because it really is it's not too bad a sound inside. It sounds really nice. I could handle it being louder, but it's got a nice rumble. I'm gonna just leave it the way she is. I think that's pretty much it for the walk around. I'll cut this up. I'll edit this up so that, you know, we go pretty quick. This is a Futura model, you know, because it's very futuristic. I mean, this car is so futuristic. This is the future. It has the original hood ornament on it that is clear. You can see your fingers through there. It's a little loose. I might have to... No, it's fine. I've checked all the blinkers. They're all working. Brake lights working just fine. Especially after getting rear-ended, or almost rear-ended there on the highway. I thought, well, maybe my lights aren't working. So I came back and filmed it and checked the film, and no, they're working fine. So it's just people today, you know. They just come barreling down the road, you know, probably glancing at their phone, and you're stopped in the middle of the highway waiting to turn left, and God, I just spend more time looking out my rear view mirror for safety than I do for, you know, looking out the windshield anymore. All right, let's hop back in it and do one more lap around the neighborhood and then park her for the day. Hope you enjoyed this introduction to my new hot rod. I just love this car, and I plan on keeping it forever. This isn't a flip. The previous owner wasn't a flipper. He built this car himself to his own exacting standards. He's a mechanic. He did it very well. He did it right. He thought about everything he did. It's a safe car. It's not going to rattle itself into pieces. Built a really nice, solid, well-driving car. And he's just a nice guy too. I mean, just tops it off. So, you know, I get the advantage of bragging about the car and bragging about the previous owner. It's got a good story. This whole car has been a positive experience so far, so we're just going to keep on adding positive experience. You know, off to the A&W, drive-in nights, cruise nights, hit the beach, that kind of thing. It's going to be perfect. All right, let's go.